Hi, everybody. My name is Robert Boardman, and today I want to talk to you about AI. I think we've heard a little bit about it, but I want to talk about my journey into kind of moving into using it locally. As in, I work for a company that, we can't really put our data into ChatGPT. And it's really nice. The timer's not started, Keith. Keith, timer. I get an extra couple minutes now. Thank you. So when I started this, ChatGPT came out. I really kind of started a little bit last year, and it was supposed to be this. It was like magical, right? We all put it in. It answers everything. We were all worried we're going to lose our jobs. And then I started using it in kind of a professional fashion, and it turned out it was actually that. It's like I wanted it to do things, and then it turned out I was spending more time troubleshooting AI than having AI do the things that I wanted it to do. So then, being the tinkerer that I was, I actually ended up going deeper and deeper and deeper and learning it. So, since I only have 10 minutes, I had to trim it down to 4 concepts that I think everybody should know. Because I really believe, especially with AI, we need to not worry so much about the tool, but we need to understand the AI itself, because I'm going to do a demo at the end of this that actually is the exact same demo that has been reiterated twice because tools have changed. So, first off and foremost, hardware matters and the cloud isn't free. So, who here loves a Raspberry Pi? Everybody loves the Raspberry Pis, right? Really not fun to play with your own little ChatGPT on. It'll take about an hour to answer questions. Neither does little mini computers don't work either. I've gone through a gambit of them. So, as you're going through this, understanding when you're going to use AI, what is the context and how you're using it. So if you need large, big data sets, I think David was doing the Spectrum where he's taking those CSVs. You need a backend on that. You're not running that on your Mac Mini. Whereas if you get to it and you start doing things like the demo that I'm doing later on is where I'm going to transcode an audio file, you can do that on your local laptop. So understand that there's trade-offs. So when you're getting into doing AI, what is your end goal? What is your requirements? Almost like Wi-Fi. And figure that out before you just jump headfirst in, because it gets really expensive. I think ChatGPT is like $200 a month if you want like the super awesome one. And then in LLMs, as far as how ChatGPT works, I thought from an end-user perspective, tokens and context windows would be the most important thing for you as a user to understand, because this is how you pay for your LLM. When you look at a large language model, a token is basically how it broke it up and how it is trained. So when a model is created, when they're trained, that token can be a word, it can be a character, it can be a phrase. And when you do that, each model itself has a context window. Or, for instance, like the bus here. How many things can you fit on the bus? Once you fit it on that bus, and that bus is full, you are done. So think about it this way. Have you ever asked a question or been building a program inside of a ChatGPT, and all of a sudden it goes, I can't finish this? You have broken the context window. So how do you solve this? Well, one, keep your prompts precise. I have a real problem where I like to pontificate. And so thus I end up talking to my LLM like I'm talking to a human being. It's not really awesome that way, because everything you put in there is something you get back. And understand what your context window is. So understand what you're using and what your limitations are. And then also split things into smaller chunks. I like to use programming because that is probably one of my weaker subjects, so I like to use AI to program for me. But I have a front end, a back end, I have some parts of the algorithm that I'm using, so break those into separate sections, and then ask AI to bring it back together. So that way you are actually managing how it works. Okay, hallucinations, or basically bad data equals bad responses. So when a model is trained, especially like, say, ChatGPT, you're gonna get things wrong. And in fact, this Wi-Fi 6E works great on 2.4 gigahertz is an actual response I got from AI. So, trust but verify. But what happens is when you look at it, the internet is a wonderful place. There's a lot of bad information on the internet. So when you're looking at how do you stop this and how do you get your AI to work better, you look at how you have to do it. You got to feed it better results. You use things like RAG, where you limit its use cases to where I can only look at this documentation. So if you look at companies that are starting to use a ChatGPT-style response or system, they are limiting the information to their information. It helps to relieve this issue. Or also, cross-check your stuff. If AI gives you an answer, go validate that it's right. Because, we all make mistakes. Oh, I got to go faster. All right, prompt optimization. This is the next most important thing, how you talk to your AI. 1, be specific, give it context, don't stop with just once, and then use AI. Interestingly enough, if you're going off and you start writing this great prompt for, say, a photo you wanted for a PowerPoint presentation, why not throw it into ChatGPT and give you a prompt to give to your generator, to DALL-E or Midjourney or whoever? So that way you actually get a proper prompt. Nobody says you can't use AI to use AI. And then here's a good example, like, why does my Wi-Fi suck? That is a very broad and could be anything question. Or you could come back and say, analyze it with a log, identify, and find some fixes. So prompting is very important. Finally, the big bad one, data security and privacy. So we've got basically the big 3. Wrong information getting spread out there, data leakages, where essentially one of the reasons that I started the private AI journey was because as working for who I work for, I'm not allowed to use ChatGPT in my work environment because anything I put in there now becomes part of the ChatGPT model. So I could be in trouble. And then also model bias, which has actually been a big thing lately with the whole DeepSeek, where if you're using the DeepSeek application, there are certain questions you can ask it that it just will not answer because it doesn't want that information out there. So again, this brings the question, cloud AI versus local AI. Who do you seize your data? And then kind of finally, AI is a tool. You still need expertise. You can't, I ran into this, that was my first problem with it, was Python. I wanted to have scripts written for me. It was writing great Python. Did not know Juniper missed APIs to save its life. So if you don't know these things, you have to be able to understand how to do it. Or for instance, how it actually runs the API. Because next thing you know, if I wanted to change power on an AP on multiple channels, it will originally kick that out one at a time. You're like, no, you could do it at once. So yeah, you still need to be an expert. It's not going to replace us, but it is a lovely tool for helping hit your spots when you're weaker. And then finally, I have a demo. Oh, time is good. So, So what we're going to do here, this is a tool called N8N. If you know Node-RED, this is similar to that. It's basically an AI orchestrator. So one of my big things is I love listening at 9 p.m. meetings. They're my favorite. I live in Europe, so whenever somebody has an 8 a.m. meeting, it's terrible. And so the next morning, I have to go listen to that hour-long meeting recording to get the 20 minutes of information. So what I really wanted to do was take a audio file, drop it in here. Oh, helps if I test. See, live demos, terrible. Excuse me. Helps if you start the test. All right. Oh, see what happens. Come on, go back. I know. Oh, wait. There we go. Let's do this. So we test the workflow. Of course, it's a freaking user error, not an actual technical error. Yeah, I need a mouse is what I need, is using a trackpad. Go back, come on. Yeah, there you go. Command C. Thank you. It's nerving up here. The lights are bright. There we go. Thank you for whoever helped, and help me forever clicking this. Let's go move. There we go. We're going to replace that. So what happens is, if it doesn't work, it's N8N. It's a lovely tool if it actually works. Or if the user... Yeah, no, Control X. It actually is not working. It's a corporate laptop, too. It's terrible. All right, so let me walk through what it's actually doing since it's a live demo. So it's basically you throw a WAV file into here. You use Whisper, which is locally contained to the machine, and it's going to transcode that into text for you. Then I'm going to use a local Olama model with a lovely command prompt here that is actually going to summarize it for me. And so that way I have a nice little summary of what the meeting was. And then finally, you'll have a nice little bit here where you can convert it. So the tool was N8N. It's lovely when you don't have user operator errors. Also, I'm using things like Bolt and Stable Diffusion. They're very helpful. And then finally, since I have 39 seconds, I'm over. Sorry. So basically, just as I've got to pay the marketing tax, tonight we're having a missed event. Peter and I will be hosting a game where we do AI versus Wi-Fi engineers. We did this in Prague, and the score was 5 on 5. So we'd like to see if the US is smarter than the Europeans. Thank you.